Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. It's time to forget the weekend's result, as I'm sure we're still feeling annoyed and frustrated with the outcome. But that's football for you. You win some, you lose some. The draw felt like a loss for us, but for Manchester United, it was a huge win. But let's focus on more important matters, as our upcoming fixture is against West Ham in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. Now, many rival fans will probably discredit this competition. I don't, to be honest, as it's silverware end of the day. That's how you measure team success. I'm all for it. It's also a competition for us to embed up-and-coming players and allow some of our squad players to gain some match fitness. So let's briefly look into our opposition, which is West Ham, and their journey to get to the quarterfinals. So they started off beating Lincoln City 1-0 in the third round, produced a surprise result, defeating Arsenal 3-1. And here we are up against Liverpool. And in terms of Liverpool, we defeated Leicester City 3-1 and beat Bournemouth 2-1 on our road to the quarterfinals as well. So in recent form, Liverpool haven't been great, to be honest. We've been getting the results, bar the United one over the weekend, but our form has dipped. And the most concerning thing is our attackers, who haven't been firing as of recent events. West Ham have had a bit of a yo-yo season, to be honest, producing wins against the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham, but then losing 5-0 to Fulham. They recently beat Wolves 3-0 over the weekend, and some of their attackers look like they're picking up form at the right time. Can't lie, it's a slight concern for me going into this fixture, but I have faith in my team. What can I say? What I can say, is that this game will not be a walk in the park. So let's begin with presenting some of the team news, predict the lineups for both teams, and I'll discuss tactics and how each team, I believe, will set up during the game, and also highlight the danger men from West Ham. So let's begin in terms of team news. So for Liverpool, long-term injuries still remain as it is with regards to Robertson, Matip, Thiago, and Bajtic. Apparently, McAllister is out longer than expected. He could be out for a further month, which is a huge blow to us. Ben Doak, unfortunately, suffered a serious knee injury and could be out for a long period of time, as he'll need to do surgery on his injury there. But some good news. Gravenberch should be fit for this game, as he was only taken off against United due to fatigue. And Jota is back in training, but I don't think he'll be ready to take part in this fixture. In terms of West Ham, Antonio is the main casualty with a knee injury, but you've got the likes of Danny Ings, who could make a start against his former club. So let's predict the lineups. You know, with the home team, we'll go with the away team. So we'll start with West Ham, and let's predict their lineup. So traditionally, they play a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. I think they'll probably play a 4-2-3-1, considering they just won over the weekend with that same formation. So I believe they might stick to it. But during the game, it could change in transitions, which I'll explain in a bit more detail. So we'll start with the goalkeeper. Normally, it's Areola who's their first choice, but he's just recovered from a wrist injury. So I don't think he'll be risked for this game. I think he'll probably start in the upcoming Premier League game. So I'm going to go with Fabianski. There he is. And then in terms of their back four, it will be Emerson, who starts on the left-hand side, taking over Cresswell's position in the team. And then it will be Corfal, who is their mainstay at right back. And in terms of their centre-back pairing, it will be Agod, who is a good defender, very classy on the ball, very strong in possession as well. And then you've got Kurt Zouma, who will be an aerial threat, especially in set pieces. He scored quite a few goals this season, so he's definitely one to look out for whenever we've got corner kicks taking place. In terms of the double pivot, it's going to be Soucek over there. If my thing starts working. And then you've got Edson Alvarez as well, who's had a decent season so far for the Hammers. In terms of the midfield, three ahead of them, I'm going to go for Kudus, who has been a phenomenal signing, in my opinion. A player that I really like, a player that I've suggested that Liverpool should have looked at during the summer. But yeah, he's playing right wing. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Kudus isn't even a right winger. He normally plays up top or as a number 10." But for me, I've always seen traits in his game. I feel like he could be a good wide forward, which suits our system to the T. He can cut in and is great in front of goal as well. He scored a brace over the weekend, so he's in hot form right now. And then we're going to go for Paqueta, who will play in the left of midfield, but I don't think that will be his prominent role, to be quite honest with you. And then I think it will be Ward-Prowse, who's been a fantastic signing for West Ham this season. Oh, it's not coming up. Maybe because I need to do... There we go. And up top, no Antonio, so it will be Bowen, who's been in scintillating form, to be fair, has scored a lot of goals so far this season. So this is the West Ham lineup that I'm expecting to see in our fixture tomorrow. I don't think that will be their static formation. They will switch around. So if they need to play a bit more defensively, I can see them playing a midfield 3. And then you've got the likes of Kudus playing over here. And it could always be a thing where if they need to protect the back 4, I expect Paqueta to be playing more of a free role. So I know I've put him on the left, but I can see him playing more as a number 10. And then you've got Bowen and Kudus forming like a partnership, I would say, up top. One would attack the channel depending on where the ball is positioned. So if the ball's on the left side, you see Bowen there, and then he will be in the central area. This is the playmaker. This is the one that makes everything tick in this team. You've got Alvarez, who's a solid defensive midfielder. You've got Soucek as well, and he's very, very important in terms of their aerial presence in set piece. Similar to Zuma, he will be the one that will try and get on the end of things. He's done it a few times so far this season. And Ward-Prowse is the one with good passing ability, and obviously we know what he's about in terms of his set play. So I could see this being a show where it's like a 4-3-1-2 if required. If they want to be a bit more on the front foot, they can continue playing in that double pivot. And then you've got Ward-Prowse in this kind of, so it's like a 4-2-2 kind of formation. So a bit out there, but it's something we can see happening during the game. They've got the personnel to do it. You know, you've got 2 live wire attackers, both quite similar in style, left-footed, like to cut in and shoot, but I feel like they can interchange and do well as a combination. So he's going to be the key man, in my opinion. I don't see him playing out wide all the time. He's definitely going to shift in, and then you've got possibly Alvarez covering him if required, and then you've got Ward-Prowse in the middle making things happen, and you've got him around the box if required. He's got a good shot in from distance as well. So these guys will definitely play a part. I don't expect to see the likes of Emerson bombarding too much. I think they'll hold their position up to here just to make sure they're able to cover their ground as well. If West Ham really needed to add an extra player in their back 4, they can do that. Edson Alvarez has played centre back. It was actually his natural position before he signed for Ajax, and Ajax is the place where he started playing as a defensive midfielder. So it can easily form in that way. He'll play more like a sweeper keeper type of player, and then it can even form as like a diamond, as you can see. So different variations in terms of how they can set up. Something we need to be on the lookout, because they have a lot of technical players, as you can see, and they can certainly switch it up during the game. Just got a comment here from Mihaly. He says, "Hi, greeting from Hungary." Thank you, and Mihaly, thank you for tuning in. I've noticed your comments in the last few shows. So yes, great to have you on board, and all the way from Hungary. So it's proof that my show is all over the world, which is always a nice feeling. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comment as well. what we'll do now, we can switch over to the Liverpool team. So we'll do that right now. So we'll stop sharing this graphic and then we'll pull over the Liverpool one. And we can talk about it in more detail. So in terms of our formation, you know, it's going to be a 4-3-3. No surprises, no sort of different formations. I can see us switching the formation during transitions, but not, I would say, as our starting formation, especially from a more defensive point. And as the game goes on, we can certainly switch it up. Klopp made some changes during the Manchester United fixture, and I wasn't happy with some of the changes he made, especially personnel and the shape of the team. But we'll focus on this game more so. We can start with the goalkeeper. Now, normally in a big game, I'll put Alisson in, but I think Klopp will go for Kelleher due to the fact that he's played most of the, well, if not most, all of the games in the Carabao Cup. So I feel like it's only right that he plays in this game. But in terms of the outfield players, I think he'll be a stronger lineup than what we've probably fielded in the last few fixtures or last couple of fixtures in the Carabao Cup. So I'm going to start with Tsimikas. And then in the centre-back positions, we've got, I think Kwanzaa will get another head. I feel like whenever he's played, he's never looked out of place. He's made a couple of appearances in the Premier League, but in the Europa League and Carabao Cup, I feel like he's always looked solid. So I feel like he deserves to have a run out, especially with Matip injured. It's good to have him being active in some shape or form. And alongside him, I'm going to go for Gomez. I wouldn't want to play Van Dijk in this fixture. I'd want to save him for the Arsenal game, which is only a few days away, taking place on Saturday, isn't it? So, yeah, not long to go with regards to that fixture. And then I think Trent will start in this one. So put Trent there. In terms of our midfield three, going to go for Endo. Don't really have a lot of options for that defensive midfield role. We would have had the likes of Bajtic and Thiago, but they're still not available. McAllister, it's quite funny with McAllister because his injury made it seem like it wasn't a big one, like it was just a small small injury in his knee. But then when they went into detail in terms of what happened, and I think the player stepped on his muscle that's around his knee, but then the stud went through the muscle and onto the bone, and it's damaged the bone as well. So that's not a injury you can push it off and then just get on with it. You've got to let the bone heal, and you've got to rest as well. You can't really be active right now. So I don't think we'll expect to see McAllister until late January, if I'm being honest. So a lot of our players need to step up and get in tune with the program, I guess. In terms of our midfield 8, so Gravenberch played against United, but was taken off around the hour mark due to fatigue. So I wouldn't want to risk him in this game. I'd rather save him, let him rest up, and utilize him for the Arsenal game. I feel like he will be pivotal in terms of how we played in the weekend. So I'm going to go for Curtis Jones on the left side of the number 8. You know, the jury's out there in terms of Curtis Jones' season so far. It's been a bit mixed. I think recently he's not been in his best form, but before he got sent off, which was like a couple of months ago now, he was showing some really, really good form. So hoping he can rediscover that very soon, because right now it is needed. Just got a comment here from Mihala. He said, think Dom will be benched. I totally agree with you. I wouldn't start Szoboszlai in this one. Even he looks fatigued. So for me, he's been overworked. This isn't a game where I need him to start, especially we've got such a big game coming up against Arsenal. So for this fixture, I'm going to give Elliott a run out. I feel like he deserves a start. He's always made a good impact whenever he's come off the bench. So I feel like he should be rewarded for this game in the Carabao Cup. So front three, I'd go for Salah. Probably thinking, why am I starting Salah? we still need to get the goals. It's not, as you can see, it's a decent squad of players that you can see on the screen, but I still feel like we need killers in front of goal. And I know we haven't been in great form in recent weeks, especially our front three. That's something we need to kind of build on during this game. Hopefully find our killer touch and use that or utilize it when we face Arsenal over the weekend. So for me, Salah starts on the right-hand side. And then I'm going to have Diaz on the left. Big question for every match, to be fair. Nothing based on form, but I always feel like Klopp decides on picking the striker based on who the opposition is. Might be a surprise from some. I'm actually going to go for Darwin Nunez. And my reason being is a couple of things. So the first one is I feel like he'll be effective if he plays in this fixture, going up against Zuma and a guard who are strong centre backs. But if you attack them on the shoulder, they will find it very troubling. And then you've got Emerson, who's more of a attack-minded fullback. Kofor is a bit more defensive-minded, so I feel like Nunez will probably attack the right channel a bit more or interchange with Salah. So that's a tactic we can deploy. So Salah could obviously come in field and then Nunez attacking that side. And then you form like a triangle here. And with Elliott being left-footed, can provide assist in that sort of role as well. So that's something that we can do during this game. And then there can be moments where, for example, Trent comes in field as an inverted player. So then you've got him there. Gomez should be, I think, good enough to occupy this role. Not on a on a weekly basis, but for this fixture, I feel like he can definitely do a job. Then you'll have a back three, but you'll have Tsimikas more over there just so he doesn't lose his shape because he's not a centre back, so it won't be a role that he's familiar with. And then you'll have these sort of players like this. So you have a 3-2-2-3 formation. Diaz, I want a lot more work from him on that left-hand side, not just in the first half, throughout the game, because I feel like he fizzles out in the second half. Needs to take more risk, in my opinion. He's definitely got in his locker, but he hasn't shown it a lot in this recent weeks, I would say. So for me, it's very, very important that he can rediscover his goal scoring touch because he hasn't scored in a while as well. So something I want him to do in this game. Darwin Nunez has been decent in the last few weeks, but against United, he was awful. Yeah. And I know he's been, criticised quite heavily over the weekend. I'm not going to go overboard and say, he's not the guy for us. We need to bench him or sell him. I'm not really here for that right now. But he does need to work on his game a lot harder. He needs to focus on what he's good at, what his strong skill sets. And that's for him to play on the shoulder, use his speed, use his strength, and be an instinctive goal scorer where when he gets the ball around the box, go for a shot. You don't need to control the ball, have about 10 touches, and then lay it off to other players because sometimes it doesn't work like that. He kind of kills the move when he does those type of moments. So you're not a false nine. You're a traditional number 9. So utilize your skill set and, try and score the goals. In terms of his build-up play, he has improved on it. His link-up play has been good. But I don't want that to be his sole focus when he steps on the pitch. For me, he needs to feel like he's a killer in front of goal and score as many as he can. So that's the attitude that I want him to have going into this game, and then he'll certainly pick up more form as the time goes on. Just got a couple of comments here from Mihaly, who says, why doesn't Dom play in the same position as he did for the national team? So for the national team, from what I know, Mihaly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, he plays in a more of a free role, like a number 10, isn't it? Oh, you've just done a comment here. He scores a lot when he's in free role. Yeah, so as a number 10, that's something we should utilize, actually, to be honest with you. Liverpool traditionally play a 4-3-3, so I think Klopp is quite, I don't want to say the word stubborn, but he's quite driven in terms of that is the shape, because with 3 midfielders, you're having more control of the game, playing with double pivot. Even if you have a number 10 that has a free role, it doesn't guarantee that you'll have a lot more possession, because that number 10 might not play more like a striker and he's a bit more further up top. So I feel like that's why Klopp favours that 4-3-3. But Dominic Szoboszlai can do both roles, if I'm being brutally honest. He can play as a number 10. He can play as a number 8. I just feel like in recent weeks he's been overplayed. So when that happens, the energy levels aren't the same. And that's one of his key strengths as well. He's very energetic around the pitch. So once you lose that confidence and that energy, you're not able to run with free will. I feel like he's being a bit more defensive in his approach due to tactical reasons, not on his own accord. So he's covering Trent Alexander-Arnold a lot more because of Trent being more of an inverted fullback at times. So that's something I want to change. I don't want us to keep playing this inverted role because it's affecting Dominic Szoboszlai's game as well. But for this fixture, I want him to be rested, and hopefully coming up, he can definitely have an impact against Arsenal, because I feel like that's the type of game he can really, really make a big impression. Just got another comment here from Liverpool 12th Man. Thank you for your comment, Liverpool 12th Man. He says that's definitely an adventurous lineup there. Is that for your FC 24 season or League Cup game? Just playing with you, Ozzie. Big up, hope you're well. Thank you, Liverpool 12th Man. I know it could seem like a. To be fair, let me just say shut up, because I think you've just joined in. So this is not my my starting formation. This was just me explaining in terms of how we can sort of transition during the game. So the lineup will be a traditional back four with Endo as a number 6, and then Jones and Elliott as number 8s, and then we've got Diaz and Nunez and Salah up top. So yeah, this is the traditional 4-3-3 formation that Klopp plays. We won't be doing what I just did, the 3-2-2-3 formation. That's not the role I would like to start us to play. If required, if we need a bit more possession or a bit more creativity from the middle of the park, that's something we can definitely transition to in, I would say, not in huge spells of the game, maybe like a 10-minute period, just to see if it has any impact on the game. Because I feel like with their players, you've got Paqueta, who was fantastic against us in the Premier League. You've got Kudus and Bowen, who run through those channels. So playing that inverted role for me as a standard formation will not work. So we need to play a traditional back four and play in a more compact defensive line as well, not to be too flamboyant. Obviously, our fullbacks will naturally go a bit more up top, but because we've got Endo there, I'm confident that he can be the destroyer in this game. And Jones, I want him to have the ball. I want him to call for the ball and really have an impression in this game. I feel like he goes missing in certain games. He goes ghost, and I don't really want to see that. Harvey Elliott can roam around in this position. If Salah wants to come in field, then you've got Ali that can go wide, and then it can be where he's trying to score. He likes to do those curlers from this sort of position. So that's something that we can utilize as a team. So this is my lineup. I think it's a strong enough lineup. It's not a lineup where we need to go all out, in my opinion, but we have good quality in all the areas. So in terms of defensive line, Kwanzaa and Gomez, I know they haven't played enough games together, but they can definitely form a good partnership. And you've got Tsimikas and Trent, who are current best fullbacks in the team. Endo is pretty much our only available 6, so not many options there. I wouldn't play Jones there, to be honest with you. And then I think Elliott deserves a run out. Curtis Jones, for me, needs more game times under his belt. I can't really keep saying that week in, week out, because there's going to be a time where I've said it for like 2-3 months straight, and he's still trying to discover his form. So he definitely needs to show a bit more of his natural game, where he's attack-minded, he's bossing the midfield as well, and using his passing ability. He's got great ball retention as well. He's not really shown that in recent weeks. So that's something for me that I want to see from Curtis going forward. And up top, just want to see some goals coming from our attackers. Diaz, I want him to play with more of a free role, express himself, because that's what he was like at Porto. That's what he's like at Colombia when he plays for the national team. So I want to see that version of Luis Diaz. And Darwin Nunez as well. Be instinctive. Use your attacking presence when you're up top. Don't think about holding the ball up too much. Like, as soon as you get half a yard, take a crack. We're capable of producing 34 chances during the game. So I'm sure this game is no different. So no, big game for us. A game that I definitely want us to take seriously and progress going forward. yeah, I know people don't regard the Carabao Cup as a big competition. It doesn't have to be a big competition. It's still silverware. It's during the domestic season. It's not like a pre-season cup. So for me, it definitely has value. And the more trophies we have, the more it kind of impacts the team as well. Because when you start winning trophies, you get that taste of winning silverware. It's a nice habit to have. So hopefully with this young team, we can start off with this Cup 2.0 with a trophy in our bag. It's got a couple of comments here from Mihai, who says, believe me, if Klopp plays against Arsenal in the same position he did against United, the result will be the same. Wasting that guy in the Henderson role. Yeah. The Henderson role is not a bad comparison, if I'm being honest. Because you're seeing Szoboszlai out wide a lot more, but he's trying to cover Trent's position. I don't really like this formation a lot in sort of like every game. It seems to be becoming quite predictable now, and that's not what I really want to see from our Liverpool team. I want us to be where we start off 4-3-3. Everyone knows that, but during the game, you're going to see a different shape, a different style of play, depending on what we need to use, what tools we need to use to execute against our opposition. So no, I can't say confidence. You never know in football, but I'm hoping we present a better performance than we did against United. That United game was just one of those. It was just one of those days where it just wasn't happening. We've had so many shots towards goal. Didn't really have any clear-cut chances. They didn't really want to play a game of football. They were happy to park the bus, what I call it. They parked the jumbo jet. So they were just not willing to move. They were happy to take that point. And you saw some of the reactions from the United fans. You'd think they'd won the Champions League the way they reacted. So no, for me, I'm positive we can produce a better performance in this fixture. And it starts from this West Ham game, to be fair. If we win this game and we're in confidence mood, we'll go into the Arsenal game with a different spirit. So hopefully this game can switch our fortune and allow us to play our game again. So this is my lineup, guys. Let me know what you think. Is it too adventurous? Love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment. And yeah, this is my team for the game tomorrow. And that wraps up the show as well. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Mihaly and Liverpool 12th Man for your comment and your contributions. I appreciate it as always, guys. Next show will be taking place very shortly. I've actually scheduled it for 10:30. I've gone a bit over. So I'll be doing it in about 5-10 minutes, as I will be continuing my career mode on FC24. So Liverpool 12th Man can see how adventurous I present my starting lineups there. So feel free to tune in. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun there. Tomorrow we'll do the match reaction at 10:30 p.m. UK time. Because it's a cup game, there's a chance that it can go to extra time or penalties. So if that is the case, we'll have to delay the show. So just be on the lookout in terms of what time I go live. I'll probably do it live, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes after the game. But the best thing to do is hit that notification bell so you know exactly what time the show begins. You can also follow me on social media for all the updates. So you can follow me at OzzieFTP on Twitter/X, or you can follow me at Ozzie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. So until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Goodbye.